Welcome everyone to another Zero to Hero. This time it is my League starter, SRS Guardian. I will take you through all of the updates, my thought process, and of course the Uber fights. Let's dive in. After a 204,000 queue, which turned out to be fake news, and the server restart, it is time to click the All-Flame SSF League. Create another Thyworm, kill a zombie and kill Hillock with my holy hammers. I use my own Regex filter on the vendor to show 3 links, which are now all white, thanks Jonathan.
Hi.
I purchase a chest piece and I meet Valerie, who I will be ignoring for the rest of the campaign. I did a lot of practice runs, so I'm aiming for a relatively fast campaign of around 4 hours. Rolling magma is nerfed, sure, but I can't be bothered to pick another skill. I find a rare chest, equip a 3-linked helmet as well, spend a bit of time on Hill Rake. You can feel the rolling magma nerfs here for sure, but after this it is no longer a concern, because I will not be using it any longer. Back in town, another Regex tells me exactly what to purchase. I get SRS and link it to Ruthle and summon Phantasm. And Holy Flame Totem is linked to infused channeling and summon Phantasm. Plus I have frostblin and shield charge. I find my first in-zone league mechanic, which drops a ton of currency and rare boots. Another one provides a permanent possessed tormented spirit bonus, increasing movement speed. And I'm sure other buffs, which I never bothered to check. This is gonna be a speedy campaign, I feel. Those boots will help, 10% movement speed, that's very nice. And here's another of those chests. It's just very good rewards for early campaign. The upper prison provides a ton of flasks, solving my need for speed with Quicksilver, and here is the Brutus fight. Not crazy damage with these support gems, but I am ramping. In town, I purchase weapons for the offhand gem leveling, get clarity, put minion life in the offhand, link SRS to added lightning and melee splash, and Holy Flame Totem to infused channeling and combustion. I slam an essence on the helmet too. Fairgraves shows up in a different place because of the new league mechanic, as he now drops the All Flame. I still went into that cave, which turned out to be not necessary. There's just nothing there. Before entering Merville, I craft myself a quick new leather belt and it is time to fight the Sea Witch. A very cozy fight, I will say. I'm not noticing damage buffs really, or the no pause buffs, yet at least. But as gearing and socket collars are an issue of the past, you do still decent damage because you got all these 3 links, guaranteed. On to Act 2. In town, I make a rare sapphire ring, equip a new shield, plus my dexterity amulet. I'll be needing some dexterity early on. I unlock a new recipe for beast crafting, which makes me wonder which new ones will be available. A question that will not be answered in this video, by the way. I found a knife with +1 socketed fire skills, which is great for SRS, as that is a fire skill. Another advantage of no longer requiring collars, you can just use these things. I make new gloves, again using an essence, equip new boots with 15% movement speed, and take the wrong support gem from Silk. I won't notice this for a while, by the way, as I just start leveling it in the offhand and don't really pay attention. And speaking of offhand leveling, I make sure to check Nessa once more and purchase Flesh Offering. I want to get rid of my All-Flame quest reward, so I decide to visit the boat, the Sovereign, but I can't figure out what to do with it. Part of that is likely the time, it's around midnight at this point, I've been awake all day, but yeah, you know. I just continue by killing the Vaal Oversoul. I find a new chest piece, armor and ES, the base type I want, and slam an essence on it. A little later I get flammability as a quest reward, and using another Regex, all the stuff I need to buy from Clarissa lights up. These are all in the build guide in the description. I realized I need to do the league mechanic once, meaning charting a map or chart, before I can deliver the All Flame. So fine, I'll do it. I'll share thoughts on this later. Below deck I learn how to do All Flame crafting. I think a decent tutorial, and I revive Vesper with the All Flame. He is only half awake though, it seems. I must gather more sulfur, a concern for later. My priority is still finishing the campaign as soon as possible. I can equip a minion wand, so I will. A little later I drop my first 4-link, which is pretty much always an upgrade. No more color issues, only attributes to worry about. An essence and it is good to go. I even find a 4-link with 6 sockets, although I need more dexterity to wear this. And staying on the same theme, a binding orb drops, guaranteeing a rare 4-link. I get a great new amulet as a quest reward, allowing me to equip a 4-linked helmet, which I created with that binding orb. Here's a bit of ghosted up speedrunning, and this whole thing helps quite a lot. I complete the library, which again has its own regex, meaning I will be buying a ton of stuff. I'm not gonna cover everything, there's a whole build guide available for you in the description, but primarily I'm getting myself a spectre, an animate guardian and some auras which I can equip later. I use another binding orb for yet another 4-link so I can slot in most of the gems, and in Act 2 I buy some random gear from Groost. Reason is so I can drop it in the next zone and have the animate guardian equip this. Will that be significant? Probably not, but I like to have this guy around and see him. Using desecrate, I generate corpses and raise the Carnage Chieftain Spectre, providing me and my minions frenzy charges. In the lab, I provide my AG, Animate Guardian, with a rare 2-handed sword for more damage. I take down Izaro without an issue, put 2% quality on the SRS gem and ascend to a Guardian. And of course, take Radiant Crusade. I have now won the campaign. This level 20 Radiant Sentinel will bitch slap every act boss, burn every monster pack. It is pure joy, really. Dominus, as you can see, doesn't stand a chance. There's not much happening in Act 4, I equip a new ruby ring, I get to buy my last upgrades, primarily Unleash for the SRS plus 2 golems, Carrion and Chaos, and then it is time for Kitava, round 1. It's all easy cruising at this point. In Act 6 I have somehow already picked up all the utility flasks that I need, that normally takes me a little bit longer. I do a bit of crafting, I have a bench in every hub after all, very convenient. Just like last league, the Twilight Strand League mechanic drops a 5-link, this may be purely coincidence. It's very welcome though, because the minion damage support I've been leveling in my offhand can now be linked to SRS as well. I reach level 46, meaning I can get Eldritch Battery plus a Reservation Mastery, which in turn allows me to equip Haste, Purity of Elements and Skitter Boss Auras. More zoom for the boomer. From a quest reward, I get a +1 minion helmet, that is super helpful, and I craft a bit of fire res on it. Here is a mercenary I found and I decided to take a bit of gear off of her. She joins me for a few zones, that's not bad. Here's a small showcase of how I am zooming through levels, plus again a 5-link, again from the league mechanic. This is a nice outcome for a minion wand, using a random essence. Minion damage and attack speed, it's very good. I take on Izaro for a second time. It is much faster now and get myself more quality on the SRS. And Unwavering Crusade for 3 damage auras, Hatred, Wrath and Anger. The next merc provides 25% movement speed boost. Good stuff. Here is my first Abyss, I will provide some thoughts later, and as you can hopefully see, I am literally cruising through the campaign while the Sentinel leaves a pile of burning bodies behind me. Add a ghost to the mix and it gets completely ridiculous. This is a league starter, but it feels like a twink. I'm happy though, I set out to get the campaign over with quickly and so far it's going rather well. In town I craft myself a life flask with bleed immunity. It is not instant, but that's okay for now. I get the wand trigger craft from the refinery, craft the trigger on the minion wand, triggering flash offering. These are some pretty nice gloves, that is a lot of life. I visit Izaro for the 3rd time, kill him, get more quality on the SRS and take the block chance node. I found a Terminus Est, so that is a nice weapon for the Animate Guardian, and then it is time for the final boss in the campaign, Kitava once more. He dies, I'm sure none of you expected that, meaning the first goal is successful. I have completed the campaign in a time of around 5 hours. Not super fast, but decent enough. While you are still watching Kitava, it is time to talk about the next goal or the next milestone, which is 2 voidstones. I have been testing several Atlas strategies and decide I will try to get through the map tiers as fast as possible, but when I meet heavy resistance or if I meet heavy resistance, I will just chill and farm that tier. So, if a bunch of monsters start killing me in tier 11 maps, I will drop down to tier 9 or 10 and then I just farm until I find some more upgrades. If nothing kills me, however, I will just keep increasing the map tiers all the way up until tier 16. On top of that, I decide I don't care about red map atlas bonuses right now, because I'm only going to run those maps as rare maps, not as rare and corrupted. In fact, I run every map as a rare map, including tier 1 maps for now. that is the strategy. So let's begin. And I start with a little booty craft, very nice stats, life, res and crafted movement speed. Before mapping, or at least early on, I try to get some gear upgrades to make the mapping smoother. I delete all the low level charts, I don't feel that is gonna give me anything decent, which could be very wrong. I craft my first map, rare as mentioned. Realize I'm not cold res capped, so I crafted that on the shield, and here's a bit of that mapping. It's very smooth stuff, I feel. No comments from my end. Feel free to add yours though. I decide to sponsor GGG a bit with the Kirek Battle Pass. I take some betrayal notes first and get another decent booty. It goes in the stash for now though, as I can't cap resistances with this. I check my gear and craft some life on the 5-link chest piece. I'm only at 2.5k life, but the build is decently tanky with block cap and ailment immunity, at least. I think so. I find my first actual animate guardian item, the shield that shares frenzy and power charges with allies, and together with a mortem morsuit that is going to help out. So I just drop it, have the AG pick it up, that is sorted for now. I then die to spiky porcupines, stun locking me. Maybe my health bar is a bit on the low side. If you're wondering why I'm running Betrayal early on in Solo Self-Found, it's rings like this one. Just a ton of resistances and great mods. I lack dexterity, but I fixed that on the shield. This also means I can now equip those boots, plus I buy a few Ray Spectre gems to level in the offhand. I have an open jewel socket as well, so I slot in whatever I have, some max fire res and hybrid res, which is better than nothing. Crafting continues. On this ring, I craft the resistances I need and then YOLO slam it for a casual 92 life. Thanks, Chris.
Hi.
With that, it is time to load up on charts and be on a boat. I try /sovereign to get there, but of course it is /boat. I bind that ultimately to F11 in Awakened PoE trade. I go underwater, explore the depths, place lanterns, get a quest item and drop my first divine. I have found 2 quest items actually, turn them both in and receive another lantern to place and more sulfur rewards. Sulfur is the resource that you use for all flame crafting. I enjoy the automated placement of the lanterns. Once rolling in the deep it is very smooth. I haven't realized yet the lanterns themselves point towards points of interest, like this message in a bottle. I will only realize that on day 2 when reading the YouTube comments on my update video. The depths otherwise are fine, assuming you find some of those points of interest. Several chests provide a bunch of scarabs, generic currency and even uniques. Not so exciting in trade perhaps, but very useful in SSF, at least early on. The message in a bottle reveals a Dodri's damning, and I looted a Loctonial Caress for the AG. Time to drop that on the bottom of the sea and have him equip it. I realized that down here it's a gold mine, literally. Again, very useful in SSF. There's more though. Here is my first ducat, and then I got greedy while the depths are closing in on me and I drown. That escalated quickly. It's time for a voyage. This is only the tutorial one with 4 tiles. I'm just putting in random charts. I have no idea yet what any of the biomes are, or if any of this thing does. No one does really, it's day 1. But I'm having a decent time down here. I am not doing the most efficient route or anything, and I still haven't figured out the lanterns. They point to the loot, so my voyage isn't rewarding at all. But at the very least I get the idea. I see the vision. My main complaint at this point, however, is that you must chart all of these tiles first before you can run them as a voyage. Charting isn't very fun, the voyage is kind of fun, so that is, for me at least, not ideal. The charts feel like a chore you must do before the new fun can start. Later on, charts will become more rewarding as I figure out the lantern thing, plus much later you get more loot to appear in charts from quest items, something GGG fixed in their second patch while writing this. But the idea that charts are way less fun than voyages never goes away from me. I'm still working on the script on day 6 by the way, doing small rewrites, and I have played beyond the scope of this video, but I'm still not enjoying charts at all. And the voyages at this point, even though right now I'm understanding them a lot better than when I made this script initially, I am not super excited about it. I will get to that though, a little bit later. The voyage did provide plenty of loot, like this new heavy build. I like the strength still, and this much life is very welcome. I turn in a quest reward for more rewarding charts, and here's already a new build with even more life. I reach level 77, running tier 6 maps, find my first ghastly eye jewel. I do a bit of crafting with the limited resources I have, and blind on hit, life and flat fizz is great for now. This jade amulet is an upgrade, I put some life on there too. I get the flash compass in a tier 8 map, pushing through those map tiers like I mentioned in the Atlas strategy section. Get myself a Val haste in a side area, nice, that saves me a few Val orbs. I started speccing into ritual after betrayal, following my own Atlas trees from the build guide, and a new 5 link pops up. This one is much better than what I have. It just needs a bit of quality and it's all good. Again, the buff SSF got from the socket color changes is massive. This would have, normally speaking, like 3 green sockets before, and now it's completely fine. Evasion isn't great, but beggars can't be choosers. That is, until another ritual provides a 6 link. Thanks, Chris.
Hi.
Ritual remains my go-to SSF league start mechanic. I don't care what anyone says, it never disappoints. There's a lot of variance, sure, but I always get good stuff, whether it's a 6 link or a perfect spectre or just other random stuff I need. I give a Joffrey's crest to the AG, that is decent resistances, trade a divine orb plus 5 normal flasks for 5 divine vessels to complete the pantheon, start another voyage, get a bunch of Merrick's ducats. I will be using these later. Operative strong boxes are still around, they went from Mirage to the seafloor. I complete the voyage, get a boatload of sulfur and a boatload of stuff I hold back to the boat, which you all have to individually click by the way, and back in maps I find a well-rolled immortal coal. I like this build if I can deal with the minus res, and on this build you usually can because you're running Purity of Elements. The regeneration is great and the 40% armor works all the time as I am ailment immune again thanks to Purity of Elements. Eventually I will wear a Darkness Enthroned, but in the meantime this is very nice. I reach level 84, take Corrupted Blood immunity, find my first Forest Warrior which is a huge damage buff. I drop the Immortal Call in favor of more and easier resistances, get nice boots with a lot of life on them, get another Forest Warrior right after, so I just now have 2 in my army. Sure, they do decent damage in fact. Here's a peek at my Atlas progression and Pantheon, and here is the first invite already, meaning I reached tier 12 maps. I run another voyage. It is a nice palette cleanser between mapping. There are offerings down here for a lab, which is nice in solo self-found. You can even find some of those special offerings, which I'm not sure how to get otherwise, to be honest. Part of the loot when I return are these boots, life and movement speed, and the decent base. So I just 4-socket it and make 1 socket blue because I can. I then decide to all-flame craft for the first time after the tutorial and exalt on those boots. Very decent choices. I pick resistances. I do the same for my amulet, picking strength. I'm just getting started by the way, I will craft some truly ridiculous pieces later. I get the second invite doing the Eldritch questline, meaning I can do both of the bosses, starting with Hunger Boy, which is of course very smooth. It's followed by Star Girl, she lasts about 15 seconds, and I'm well on my way towards the first 2 voidstones. The high red tier maps can be challenging though, so I will only push through as long as I don't meet a ton of resistances and die all the time. I essence craft a shield for block chance, not realizing this would have also worked with all flame crafting. Ritual provides an 18% quality stone golem, that is very nice, but for now I will stick to the chaos golem because I need the chaos resistance. I drop a Dying Breath, my go-to staff for the animate guardian. Curse effect will be very significant later on. I'm running tier 13 maps at this point and expand my Forest Warrior corpse collection. I reach level 88 and after reaching tier 14 maps I can work on the second quest line for the second voidstone, killing all of the incarnations. It starts with Mini-Cirrus, however, shortly after. The incarnation of neglect bites the dust. I run a Syndicate hideout, reaching level 89, and the hideout drops a Mystic Refractor. I've reached tier 15 maps and finally that 6 link has returned to Ritual. I can buy it, it is already really good, so I just benchcraft Energy Shield on it, do an Exalted Orb All Flame craft, picking 26% Chaos Res, a great pick. I realize both chromatic orbs and eldritch implicit currency cannot be used in all flame crafting. Here is all the currency I have, but block and max res I'm very happy with at the end of the day. And it's not even the end of the day, imagine. This means SRS is now linked to melee splash, unleash, elemental damage with attacks, minion damage and ruthless. I do more all flame crafting. This gets me +2 max cold res on a shield, that's okay. I am scaling maximum resistances. I equip a new amulet with spectral wolf on kill, which actually somehow works, and I continue my slaying of incarnations. This is the fear going down. I continue upgrading gear with this betrayal drop amethyst ring. It's amazing and has an open suffix too. I reach level 90 and it is time for the first real bosses, the Eater of Worlds. And now that I already have a 6 link and swapped out melee splash for multi-strike, and we have of course the no pause buff for SRS, which I would say at this point is noticeable. All those things combined lead to a lot of damage to these bosses. In my guide I advocate for a 5 link as a minimum. That is already enough, but I have a 6 link and thanks to all flame crafting already significantly better gear than I would have otherwise. So after 2 very easy fights with both the Eater of Worlds and the Searing Exarch, I have reached 50% of my next goal, 1 out of the 2 voidstones, and it's been super smooth. I keep doing ritual though, and there is some payoff in the form of a perfect primal thunderbird. That's a free grace aura. It's the only interlude before I take on the final incarnation, the incarnation of dread. There isn't all that much to say, so just watch. And while you are, let me take the opportunity to talk about the next milestone, the next goal. You may think, 4 voidstones, right? After 2 voidstones come 4 voidstones. But 4 voidstones is actually pretty hard. The Maven, that's a difficult fight if you have bad damage. Uber Elder can be a complete shit show with those dots everywhere. That is my thinking at least. I don't realize you don't need to complete Uber Elder anymore, but only kill Shaper and Elder, which is significantly easier, but I missed the memo on that. No, it's none of that. It is a 2-step new milestone. Complete the Atlas and get all the bonuses, or at least most of them, and then get some more gear upgrades in the form of better Spectres, 2020 gems, the Catarina bloodline, Ghastly Eye Jewels and the Darkness Enthroned. Those are some key pieces which are going to help me a lot to progress further. That said, I watch a bit of roleplay, the Rose Petals take over the Atlas, and for reference I have now played for 10 hours and 43 minutes. For me that is a very decent time. I'm starting to realize you can make some interesting figures with these charts. But let's not dig up the past, shall we? Let's dig up some treasures instead and keep it nice. Like this hole, it's not bad at all. On to the next one, this is fine, and look at that, looks amazing. Now click every single item multiple times to get it in your stash. The weight of items, right Chris?
Hi.
The real rewards to all of this is all flame crafting though. I'm still keeping it simple, with Exalt Slams getting 4 options, hitting Chaos Res and picking up very nice gloves. This is pretty insane for SSF. I'm just happy we no longer need the bloody Genesis tree, that thing sucks in my humble opinion. Then a shield, same idea, a bit less Chaos Res but still a big upgrade. I hit a lucky chrome on the gloves, slot the golems into the blue sockets for more quality and continue mapping to unlock more Atlas passive points. And of course, gain a few more levels. I very rarely die and here I am level 92. Because I don't have Ghastly Eye Jewels yet, as I'm running Ritual and not Abyss, and because I focused on 2 voidstones, I barely have any Atlas passive points to spend, so Abyss isn't happening anytime soon, meaning I don't take sockets like I do in the guide, but instead I take more life. I drop a new minion wand, just crown loot pretty good, 2 blue sockets is nice as well, for elemental weakness and flash offering, and of course a trigger craft. I run more safe houses, but the Catarina medallion is super rare. As I'm getting so much gold from the link mechanic, I set up my map runners in King's March. It's relatively low effort and these guys never disappoint. I ignore everything else over here though. My entire gem setup reaches max level, meaning it is time to swap for quality. Only the support gems of course, but having 20% quality on all supports is a big deal. Now all that's left is to level this all back to level 20, but if you're playing tier 16 maps like me, that doesn't take too long. Here you see that in action while I reach level 93. I get a divine from a message in a bottle. Not bad, another hour, another voyage. And again, scarabs are really an issue of the past in Solar Cell Found, if it was even an issue before Mirage. There are so many dropping down here. I found enough flash currency to automate them. No more piano players, just smooth operators from here on out. I reach level 94 and the ritual gives me +1 minion shield. There's not much else on there, but it's a start. As I still don't have ghastly eye jewels, I will spec into more life for now. The tankier I get, the easier it will be to get more passive points from leveling up. Another safe house, another Catarina medallion not dropping, but I do get Kadiro, which is fun. And talking about fun, this is a fun corruption on an amulet, although I will never use it. I finally unlock a second atlas tree and I start manifesting anomalies. I know I was doing something right. And here, another one, a planned heist. And these are great, I will show you in a bit. First, let's make an abyss tree, because I need a darkness enthroned and ghastly eye jewels. This gives me a nice opportunity to talk about abyss, which is of course an improvement in terms of gameplay. Rewards though are basically non-existent, but GGG mentioned that it's getting fixed. And I still don't like that I have to wait before the chests show up from the ground. That's my review on Abyss. Mercenaries then, it's nice to have them back, especially if they give me broken rings like this. Holy moly, that's a good ring. Kept Chaos Res and 5.1k life, is not too shabby at all. On the Atlas, I noticed the lifeless hollow, thinking it's an anomaly. It's not though, it is whatever this is. And I need to find a key of sorts, it seems. This is an anomaly though, Kadira's Palace, or whatever it's called. More gambling to prove to myself that I'm not addicted at all. I'll return later for that lightning coil though. I get a Wake of Destruction from div cards, that is for the Animate Guardian, and here you see what the guy is wearing so far. The Abyss tree is starting to pay off because I'm dropping Ghastly Eye Jewels. Time to craft. After some alterations, I get Flat Fizz, Blind and Regal an almost perfect life. Ay, hold my beer. The Exalt is Avoid Poison, which isn't a dead affix either. I found more though, so here is another. Flat Fire and Cold, attack speed, and the poison chance is useless, but still 3 great damage affixes. Here's my atlas to give you an idea. There's a lot of room for improvement, let's say. I do more anomalies though, I think they're very fun in SSF. This is just a single room free blueprint with pre-selected heist members. I take a replica Bones of Uller. Who knows, maybe for later. But later never came. Abyss continues of course with more Ghastly Eye Jewels. Crafting time, I make something nice, trust me bro. Respecking the tree so that I can slot those jewels in, and here they are. Let me hover over them for you. This is a pretty massive DPS increase because it's all flat damage, which is getting scaled by all of your different modifiers. I complete a single harvest to unlock the bench. My map runners provide the juice though, should I need it. And not only that, also some sick upgrades like this amulet or this +1 fire, which actually works for SRS. A Leer cast, didn't have that one yet for the AG. Another 50% damage increase for the boys, and some more all flame crafting then. I'm lining up the items and the exalted orbs. This is very exciting. First the belt, and all my excitement has left me. Then the ring. It is okay, I could have bench crafted that. The other ring, then the amulet. Surely this is going to be great, and sure, rarity, fine, not bad. Blessed orbs work, which is very nice. It is an amazing upgrade, still. I get lucky on the helmet too with +1 minions on a very good base. The exalted orb outcomes aren't amazing, but I take a +1 any day. Back to eye crafting, Flat Fizz, attack speed and taunt. Pretty good, I want a source of taunt. I found more though, life, minion damage, minion life and flat fire, that is just great. I realize I have a Merrick's Ducat, which adds a 5th affix and corrupts the Ghastly Eye Jewel. You do get 4 choices though, I imagine, so let's test that out. Outcomes aren't slam dunk, but you know, 35 energy shield, that will be part of my life pool eventually, so I'll take it. I keep running Abyss. Jewels are mostly there, but the Darkness Enthroned isn't. Fortunately, I find an Abyssal Depth. They spawn in tier 11 maps and higher, and I realize the depths have changed. For example, with this mini-boss dropping 2 Ghastly Eye Jewels. The regular bosses are still there, in my case Ulaman, and fortunately he drops what I'm looking for. And yeah, that is a pretty good roll. 98%, aye. So, more crafting, and on this one I'm getting Flat Fire, Taunt, Leech and Life. Great jewel. And the next one gets increased damage, Flat Fire, Flat Fizz and Ellie Res. Also great. I dropped the Shroud of the Lightless too with 2 abyssal sockets. I put my 5 affix corrupted jewel in the belt, some of the others in the tree, meaning I did lose some life but gained massive minion damage in return. I craft Chaos Res on the amulet, meaning I have now enough to remove the Chaos Golem and get the Stone Golem into the build, which I've been leveling in the offhand. My Raise Spectre gems reached level 22, but 3 corruptions do not have the desired outcome. And a 4th fails too. I quality multi-strike and keep leveling that, and buy a bunch more Spectre gems to try again in a few hours. I get to some more All-Flame crafting using up all Merrick's ducats I have to improve all my ghastly eye jewels, a 5th affix plus corruption. For the first craft I take block for a bit more tankiness. The second one rolls flat cold, that's an easy pick. The third gets me not a whole lot, I feel energy shield regen is probably the best option. Gem 4 rolls movement speed, that is a great affix. And the 5th and last one attack and cast speed, another banger. Again, these provide very significant power to the build and the ducats are simply amazing. With all my newfound power, I decide I'm going to do the 4th lab. At level 94, sure, but the 4th node isn't all that impactful. The Divine Font gives me some high quality rolls which I put on SRS and the free valuable support gem, and hence not bad. I won't be using that though. For the last node I take Time of Need, I really like the life regen. Here's a peek at the Atlas. I'm taking down another quadrant, all according to plan. I'm working on the Pantheon, I reach level 95 and I take a 10% life node. I decide to keep grinding more Abyss and find a +1 minion wand. That means more All-Flame crafting. First, a shield I found earlier which rolls a free convocation. And the wand rolled minion crit chance. Not great, not horrible. As I can use the numlock trick to automate that free convocation, I now have 2 gem slots free, so I opt for a classic, cast when damage taken, Molten Shell. I return to Kadiro, skip that lightning coil from before, roll an incandescent heart, promising, skip that too though, and get a Thunder Fist, which again I skip, completing the anomaly lab. I keep running Abyss, keep fighting Abyss bosses, and again the Darkness Enthroned. These are very common. I decide to give my Animate Guardian and the rest of Defiance. The map runners have returned, bringing loots and riches and an SSF Gentle Touch. This is huge for map clear if you have another source of +1 curse on yourself or the Animate Guardian, which right now I do not have. All my gems reach 2020, that is another milestone reached before I will attempt 4 voidstones. I make shield charge 20% quality for more movement speed and the carrion golem 20% for more buff effect and purity of elements too for some extra res also for the minions. I run more safe houses, kill more leaders and get no medallions. I do get a potentially interesting talisman though, and this isn't a bad ring either. A little later I complete my last map, 100 out of 100 Atlas progression, which also means Kirek's Vault Pass completion. It is time then to loot all of the chests and MTX, always a glorious moment after reaching another milestone, and it'll be some glorious gambling too. I get a hideout thing, a griffin pet which is cool, building supplies, a drawbridge I think, and a weapon effect, plus the whole Kirek outfit, the High Templar's War Regalia, and I feel that is very fitting as I am, you know, a Templar, maybe even a High Templar at this point. It's a great outfit. I add the Soul Harvester's cloak, a book hip attachment, 4 invisible flasks, the Raging Bull Quicksilver thing, and there's that griffin, but I don't like pets. My favorite portal, Stygian Desecrate, some shield charge MTX, aura MTX, molten shell MTX, and that's it. Good as new. I've been collecting unique maps, so time to run a bunch of those. I got enough baubles to make all my flasks 20% quality. I reach level 96 and get another 6% life node. And I decide to do more all-flame crafting, this time just throwing random essences at pieces. This is a nice outcome already, but I have more of these. I like this one even more because it has no life on it. I slam boots, hoping for movement speed. I get it, but it's too low level. Then a ring, nice, but I won't be using it. Gloves, not amazing either, I really wanted high life or high res, and then an amethyst ring where I will add cold res. You can see how useful this is though. I add some dexterity and that is a very nice ring with tons of life too. I am now very overcapped on chaos res, so the rings don't make it in the build for now. These gloves however, that's a different story, this is very nice. Tons of dexterity, decent life, it's a good base. I tricolor it using the new or reworked omen and all that is left are eldritch implicits. Back to that chest though, I benchcraft armor and energy shield and decide to all flame slam the last affix, hitting even more armor and energy shield. That's 20% quality, 2800 armor and 600 energy shield, which is huge. Now all I have to do is 6-link it. I can easily 6-socket using an omen of the jeweler. You find plenty of those in ritual, but linking will require some grinding. I have 750 fusings now, so I'm halfway there. I finished the gloves with minion damage and cold exposure. The latter is completely optional. I craft some chaos res on the ring too, capping my chaos res once more. Time for a third tree, one for Maven boss rushing. I get my testudo anoint to cap block, run another safe house, and finally, there it is, the syndicate medallion. That means it's time for Catarina, a very easy fight at this point. I get a Zoraf's eye, interesting, and of course her bloodline, meaning I now have access to Umbral army. I think I know where this eye goes, right in here, but it seems I need more. Time to unspec Betrayal then and take strongboxes instead. It will give me a lot of fusings. I haven't showed some gameplay in a while, so here is what my favorite tier 16 map looks like. There's still a ton of stuff on the loot filter, but I'm making that thing stricter by the hour, removing any uniques that I find and stuff like currency once I reach, let's say, a certain threshold, 1000 augments or something. That is usually enough for the league. I do the same with divination cards. The focus is either on Maven boss rushing or in this map still on ritual and strongboxes. Ritual for the specters and good loot in general, and strongboxes for fusings. The build is as smooth as ever, doing a ton of damage already, and there are still some milestones left, like that chest piece, more specters, and SSF's gloves. I restock the mappers, this is the gift that keeps on giving. I'm at 1115 fusings now, unlock another anomaly, another plant heist, get a regular warlord from ritual, which is at least a vitality buff, and the perfect spirit of fortune, which is okay for lucky lightning damage. My minions do some lightning damage, not much though. Still, it probably beats a Carnage chieftain. I pick up some Chevron's wrappings div cards and after that some more, so here's the item, a classic. Maybe fun for the new Legion stuff, which I will completely ignore in this video. Fusing status 1200 plus. More ritual, more corpses, the hooking miscreation, that is great. He buffs constructs and generates them too, and SRS are considered constructs. So time to add that bad boy to the crew in favor of the spirit of fortune. Dropping 6 links helps too with the fusings, and in general the maps are getting more and more juicy. I want more map device slots, so I run a tier 17 map with both scarabs that remove affixes, making this a tier 17 without affixes. I somehow still get 3 fragments from the boss, and that isn't the first time, so you might as well run the tier 17s like this all the time. I certainly have this run. I identify another +1 minion wand, and just by itself it is an upgrade. My specters have leveled, time to corrupt, but again all 5 Val orbs fail to get me another level on the gem. Fusing status, after I buy some more using Jeweler's orbs, 1462, it's very close. I decided to liquidate some more funds, alterations into Jewelers, into fusings, and there it is, 1507 fusings. Time to get back to that chest with implicit, all resin fist taken as. Then the moment I've been waiting for, a guaranteed 6 link, and damn, that is a lot of armor and energy shield. I fixed some resistances with Hordy crafting, get that ring in from before, get some implicits fixed with blessed orbs, and decide to run another crafting session. First the wand, getting extra minion damage on there, very good. Then I try to get lucky with this fractured wand, but the odds of hitting +1 minion are minuscule of course, so that doesn't happen. I get +1 lightning though, but yeah, that's not for this build. Then boots, adding lightning res, and all of the other items fail. Now that I have my new body armor, I can make the swap to mind over matter, so I'm figuring out which nodes to sacrifice and how to respec at level 96. I need some more dexterity on my gear for that, so I put that on the shield, refund the middle section of the tree, get the armor and energy shield mastery, bringing me to 3k energy shield, taking mind over matter to have that energy shield be part of my life pool, and also wicked ward so it keeps recharging despite damage. I'm now basically unkillable. I get a bit more immersed into the league mechanic at this point, the voyages in particular. Some of these are really fun, for example in this one I have Soul Eater during the whole thing. I'm using ancient orbs to try and get a Cosprey's will. I'm still hunting for a +1 curse for the animate guardian. I find more Merrick's Ducats, they come from this biome with the circle in the middle, they spawn from here, the monsters. I discover some more circles though, and here's 2 of them, and this is the new league mechanic boss, so spoiler alert. A very cool fight, really. First you fight the snake, and then you fight Velka and the snake together. I kill Cressy, the snake, first, which upsets Velka quite a bit, and she enrages, sort of, casting a bunch of lightning all over the place. After it's over, I loot 2 quest items, unlock her bloodline ascendancy with some cool options, but not really for me. I get myself the crab totem staff, maybe for a future SSF character. A little later, I drop another new unique from a clam. The quest items allow me to wake up Vesper, that is cool I guess, and I find the last lantern upgrade too, that was the other quest item from Velka. Mappers, like I mentioned, never disappoint. Here is a +2 minion helmet. This happens to me multiple times in the league, by the way. I would argue this is a consistent way to get +2 minion helmets at this point. It's not the best base, I won't equip it. Now that I'm invincible, time to Maven boss rush. Here's a small snippet of the Minotaur. This is a rare map, it is a complete breeze at this point. The invitation isn't an issue either, and nice, they give me a few more fragments. Time to fight the Shaper, which is a piece of cake. I'm still under the impression that I need to kill 2 Shapers for both fragments. Using Blessed Orbs, pro tip, I reroll the Guardian maps. I reach level 97 and take the 15% life mastery, as my chest piece doesn't have a life affix on it. Elder time, another piece of cake of course. It is only like that because I first focused on reaching all of these milestones. You can do Elder and Shaper much earlier too, but it'll be harder. And a fight like Maven can be very challenging without proper gear. And Uber Elder is no joke either, so I prefer this route of progression. Plus you need to do stuff like leveling up gems, ghastly eye jewels and Atlas completion anyways, so you may as well do that first. You could argue that is true even for 2 voidstones, but I think those are so easy that you should get them and get their bonus effects. Altars are so much more rewarding and maps in general are so much more rewarding after 2 voidstones, so it is worth rushing. 4 voidstones though, it's a little bit of a different story. At the end of the fight, I get the 3rd voidstone, and as you probably realize by now, that's kinda new to me. Maybe it was like this last patch too, I wasn't paying much attention I suppose. But previously you had to fight Uber Elder. This means it's way easier now to get this. Still, I fight Uber Elder anyway, I got the fragment. First, put that voidstone in, fight another regular Elder. I use the Hoardy crafting to swap the fragments, and here is some of that loot. It's nice, but I won't be using any of it. Time to slot in those fragments and fight Uber Elder. I will just show you a part of the fight to give you a bit of an idea how the build performs in a fight like this after all of these upgrades. It is super smooth basically. SRS are always seeking out the correct boss, so that helps. They automatically seek out the portals and those pesky little monsters that start shitting all over the arena floor with their dot damage. I can tank a lot of abilities, at least for a while. Plenty of time for my old hands to get out of harm's way. The only thing that is a problem are the Shaper balls, as they penetrate cold resistances, I think it is. And as we all know, penetrating balls can hurt. On that note, enough of all this, they both bite dust. I didn't die a single time in here, it's all going as advertised. Then the Maven. I think likely still one of my favorite fights, from the whole lore to the mechanics and the memory game. I think this is peak boss design honestly. The main challenge at this point is trying to not get hit by the beams and of course do the memory game. The beams stop all of your recovery and I'm relying on energy shield for both defense and casting. So whenever that doesn't recover it's a bit of an issue. And then I can definitely die, which happens once. Other than that though, I've done this fight many times, so I know how to place the balls in the middle, do the memory game, avoid beams most of the time, and ultimately defeat the Maven for the 4th and final voidstone. I get the belt, I really wanted the shoes, but okay. But yeah, what is next, you may ask? Well, 4 voidstones is already a big milestone, I think a good number of people won't reach that, so that is good to recognize. But the title of this video mentions something about Ubers, I'll get to that. I will mention, however, that for me it is just a checkbox to show the build is capable of doing it. I don't enjoy the path towards Ubers because I absolutely despise tier 17 maps with all those shitty modifiers. It is just the opposite of fun for me, and I much rather farm tier 16 maps and chill, but that doesn't get you to Uber bosses. And I always get questions in the comment sections like, hey, can this build do Ubers? So yes, it can, and I will show you. That means Ubers and some tier 17s is my new milestone, but next to that, to keep my sanity, I will also be doing some side content as well. It is a new league after all. What does continue therefore is some of the Maven invitations. I won't complete them all, but I will get about 4 I think. And of course my underwater adventures, now that I've gained all of the buffs. It is great for SSF, you get tons of currency and scarabs. I think it is a nice rotation too, you do some juiced maps with the scarabs, find the chart, and then run a voyage or two gathering scarabs and other stuff. And yeah, that's a bit of the rotation. I can see the vision once more. I just feel the voyages themselves aren't all that interesting still. It is rewarding enough, I guess, in SSF, and the only source for sulfur and ducats, but other than that, I don't know. It's not pulling me in really like Mirage did. Part of that is that you must do the 9 charts first to run a voyage. I also feel a lot of these charts are really pretty bad. So in practice, if you want to do a fun and juicy voyage, you have to probably run like 20 or 30 charts to make one. There's a lot of potential micromanagement going on, which is cool on one hand because that gives you a lot of agency, but it is a lot of micromanagement, and I at least just like to run content and not think about it all that much. You can do that, of course, but then, you know, it doesn't feel all that great. Yeah, I know I'm complaining a little bit about this, but this is just how I feel about it. It's not so easy for me to pinpoint why the mechanic doesn't feel great. I'm curious about your thoughts too if you have made it this far. There is some cool stuff down here, like the ancestors, they show up and drop ducats too, but when I have seen this once, the novelty wears off and repeating it has no real purpose. The boss is cool, but finding that chart is super rare. Finding any of the golden charts barely ever happens, which I think is an issue as well. And on top of that, it is less rewarding than mapping, I feel, by quite a large margin, so that doesn't help either. Unless you chart like a bunch of different charts, right? Spend a lot of time on that and then make one super juicy voyage, which I think is much more feasible in trade, for example, than in SSF. It's just not that fun in SSF to do all these charts. That said, I would like it to go core though, especially the all-flame crafting is phenomenal, and the ducat system I like a lot as well. All-flame crafting may be too powerful. If Harvest is getting gutted, this will be for sure, I think. It's way more powerful than Harvest ever was, but maybe the devs feel crafting shouldn't be as difficult as it once was. Time will tell. I do hope it goes core as is though. I think it is a great bridge between endgame crafting, which is still more powerful than this, and not doing any crafting at all, which I feel a lot of players simply never do. I get that in the comments very often, that people barely craft because it is so daunting. And I feel the same way, like I'm with you guys, you barely see me craft either in these Zero to Hero videos. Systems like this though, perfect for those with a bit more of a casual approach to Path of Exile, a group I definitely consider myself a part of. I play for a lot of hours, yes, that is very true, that is not very casual, but I have a rather casual mindset, I would say, for most of those hours. That is maybe enough about the lead mechanic though, that is my little review. Back to crafting, because I realize you can just put in the changeling ducats and get to pick which one you want. Very cool. Incredibly helpful, this saves you a lot of farming as well. In Ritual, I find a hunter's influenced body armor, which means I can turn that into a +1 cursed chest piece. Reforge caster on the Hordy crafting, and there are only 2 options. One of them is this. Excellent. I decided to all-flame craft it a bit as well, because why not? So I just get some additional affixes on there that are decent and drop it so the animate guardian can equip it. Now that he can cast an additional curse, I give him the SSF gloves. So I have my elemental weakness and his temporal change. This is very good for clear. The gloves will explode entire packs. Here you see that in action. It is incredible, really. I forget to swap out melee splash now, by the way, in this showcase, which you should definitely do as you don't need clear speed anymore on top of these explodes. You can just focus on single target, meaning multi-strike. I will swap the gems later though, in fact, here we go, just right after I've done this map. Ritual keeps delivering an insane ring, look at that thing. That is just perfect. I can craft fist damage reduction on the shield again because the ring has so much dexterity. Map runners get me a 97% darkness enthroned, okay, so I give them another round of maps. These are just rare maps, by the way, it's not even tier 16 necessarily, there's nothing fancy going on here. I unlock more anomalies, the Syndicate hideout, a lake islet from a very tanky glaze, an uncharted expedition, and it's time to corrupt my race Spectre gems, and there it is, level 21. If I manage to get 4 more levels from gear, this gem reaches a breakpoint at level 25, allowing me to raise 3 Spectres from the gem alone, bringing my total to 4. I get the 4th from the passive tree, the death attunement thing. The mappers bring me a +1 minion wand. That syndicate hideout anomaly seems to guarantee a Catarina medallion. I check out that expedition, but I think it's just an expedition. I didn't notice anything special about it. There's not even a guaranteed boss in here or anything, it's just an expedition, I feel. Catarina drops another eye, so I think I can now fight that boss as I have both eyes, but no, the other eye seems to come from somewhere else. I won't find it in this video, by the way, spoiler alert. I am not looking stuff like this up, I really enjoy to discover things myself. And in SSF you have all the time in the world to do that. I try to not consume PoE content in the first week or so to get that sense of exploration and to make up my own mind about the game. And videos like these are, I think, much more interesting as a result. I get a reflecting mist from a message in a bottle, that's pretty good. I buy 6 SRS to try and make those ultimately level 21 by corrupting them. I have a few stacked decks to unpack. You get loads in the new league mechanic. I take on Cressy and Velka and you will be able to tell how much my damage increased since last time. I like the unique items coming from this boss though, like the crab totem and the sea blister shield. It gives barnacle on the shield itself, which does damage on kill or whenever hitting a rare, scaling with shield stats. That's just amazing, I think. While restocking on scarabs, I reach level 98 under the sea and I start farming a few more fragments. I get 3 of them here from the easiest boss and there's no modifiers on this thing, I think. And here's just one from a very juicy tier 17 with a lot of modifiers. Map quantity in that sense seems to do very little. I get a windscreen boots and that's yet again another curse. And the profane proxy, which I will use in a bit. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to make an insane wand. I have big plans. Starting with the wand the mappers brought me and using a Kishara's Ducat, I think it will split evenly. That turns out to be not true. It picks an affix at random, which is why it picks fire damage 3 times and fortunately also +1 to all minion skills. You can get a similar base of course by simply spamming alterations, but okay. Now I have a base. I'm going to do something incredibly simple, which is just add an exalt at a time and pick the best outcome. But not before I craft the trigger first. The first slam, minion crit multiplier. The second, 65% increased minion damage. The third, bugs out, I'm pretty sure, so it's 33 int. The fourth and last, hybrid minion damage. Look at this thing, that is amazing for solo self-found and it is so simple. Is it best in slot? No. Is it close to best in slot? No. But it is about as good as you will get for farming Del for 6 hours, yeah, pretty much. And without having to understand fossils and resonators, which is a huge barrier to entry I feel. Or delve in general, which isn't easy or beginner friendly in the slightest. Without doing all of that, you can still get with all flame crafting a decent wand and I think that is just great and I really hope it stays. I get the profane proxy in, put in elemental weakness and ultimately put molten shell on the trigger wand. That is an easy tricolor then. I essence slam gloves, trying to get an upgrade, and this is a nice start. There's a Ducat to change attributes, gentiles, so I turn that tier 1 strength into dex. I craft chaos res on it, all flame slam armor and energy shield, spam a few chromes for 2 colors for both the golems and put implicits on there. I want the minion damage and any decent blue implicit is fine, spell suppress, sure. Back to gambling, the gull. Not cheap, but a great item. And back to crafting because that wand tastes like more and like corpses. A shield this time, but I start with alteration spamming. After a good number of them I hit the +1 minion and I'm going to do the same thing, but now I need to do a regal orb first, getting me 25% minion res. I craft chaos res, then myself, slam 83% minion damage, holy moly, and slam spell block, very useful as well. After some more fixing of resistances, we're looking at these stats. That is very nice stuff. I work a bit on my RSI and find the underwater merc. This is so good. I'm bringing this guy for sure. I am almost at the end of the journey. Mappers bring an interesting small cluster jewel. As I haven't found the perfect warlord, this can be useful. Also useful, a +2 minion helmet on a good base. I'm telling you, mappers bring these home all the time. It's day 3 and I got 2 of them already, and this is not uncommon. I'm keeping this easy, I just craft chaos res and all flame slam armor and ES, and it's a great item. I turn the strength again into dex, color it, get minion life and fizz taken as implicit, and it is done. This means I now have a level 25 raised spectre gem, allowing me to raise 4 spectres in total, so I get in a regular warlord for vitality. I don't need more damage after all. Time for a second craft, this cluster jewel. On a small armor cluster jewel, you can roll enduring composure, guaranteeing you endurance charges when hit. A perfect warlord is way better, but this works too. It does cost you 5 passive points, which is a lot, but I think worth for 3 endurance charges. If you level up even more, you can take another charge on the tree. I sacrificed some minion damage and life to get this set up, and I feel it's definitely worth it. Path of Building would likely agree in terms of effective health pool, but I don't use it that much. I don't really min-max this build. The SRS have reached max level and all the corrupts fail. I do sacrifice my own SRS and hit 23%, which I guess is something. I do a bit of an appetizer by killing a Maven witnessed Cirrus. I can very likely just face tank all the beams, but I try to make a habit out of doing the mechanics in case I run a character which can't do that. This is a fun fight, I feel. I like it a lot. I then do a bunch of tier 17 maps for at least a few fragments, and these things still can kill you. I hate these maps though, with the modifiers. In fact, I ran most of these with the 2 scarabs that remove all of the modifiers. You still often get 3 fragments, so why not? But then, time to fight Ubers. I just do the ones that I have the fragments for. I'm not cherry picking here, this is just the fragments that I got. Starting with Uber Elder. The first half of the fight is going really well. I can tank a ball or two, a beam a second or so. Even Shaper slams it seems, although I wouldn't recommend it and only when I'm at full health. And single target is great, all things considered. More than enough, and there's auto-targeting. Plus, and people underestimate this, it is always up. It is constant DPS. I am at around 10 million constant DPS, I think, during this. I die once from a Shaper Slam after something else already brought me down quite a bit. Then I die a few more times while the fight is basically over. Balls and maybe more slams even, but they go down with 2 portals left. I get a Void Shockwave support, which is cool. Up next, I think an easier Uber, the Uber Incarnation of Neglect. This is a good showcase in terms of damage, I feel. Turns out I cannot tank those ice slams, but otherwise it is an easy fight really. I keep my distance, dodge balls and beams and roaming giants, and the minions in the meantime bring down the boss. I die only once, he goes down, it's another Uber gone. And finally, because I really couldn't be bothered to grind more tier 17 fragments, at least at the time, it is the Uber Incarnation of Dread. This is a tough fight, I feel. It's gonna be a complete shit show of projectiles in here, plus the 2 other bosses can hurt quite a bit. The first death is on these 6 beams, I kinda forgot that was an ability. But I will show you the final part of the fight, as this is a very long fight. You see the other 2 bosses spawning, which I must kill to get the roses, which you need to bring to the boss itself to bring him to the next phase. Despite all the projectiles and boss abilities, you can see the recovery of the build and overall tankiness, and block cap of course, they all help me through the phases a lot. Once the 2 guys are dead and the roses delivered, the fight becomes a lot easier, allowing me to kill him. I didn't record it, but total playtime at this point is 50 hours, which is really fast for me at least, and yeah, the build can do Ubers with relative ease. I'm doing a small insert, it is now day 6, a small insert in the script, I mean. When I'm checking the script one more time before recording tomorrow, or well, that is now then, I have in fact killed 5 Ubers and will post the latest PoB which I used, which is even a little better than what you see here. I got rid of the small cluster jewel because I found a shield on the animate guardian, which I will also put in the PoB, which actually gives me endurance charges from the animate guardian. It is the replica Victario's influence shield. That said though, I hope you had a good time watching this journey. I will likely make some more content about the League, either deep diving into the League mechanic or maybe some SSF crafting, although most you have seen in this video. I will likely test out some League mechanic, run 50 maps or so, see what I get, that could be fun. I may start some more Zero to Hero, we will see. I make content after all whenever I feel like it, that keeps me sane after editing a video like this for a day or 2. Thanks for watching and making it to the end. Love you all, see you soon, bye bye.
This is everything we see. Enthroned shall not be erased so.
Your coppers are looking plump.
Let the blood dance begin.
In the depths of her mind, she wholly forged him. The Atlas is everything we see, and everything we do not. Influence and power unmake.
Twin terrors.
Means to an end.
Temporal tears.
Unbridled reverie.
Take this vitality boon.
The Atlas is everything we see, and everything we do not.
Time to up the stakes. Time bends to my will. Shadow, rise in fight. Another challenger.